What's going on, guys? The Barber Phil here, back again with another haircut tutorial. And in today's cut, we're going to be doing a no-seam taper on the sides. We'll taper out the back, and then we actually didn't touch the top at all. My guy said he really liked where the length was, and all we did to the top was we just give him a nice sharp line up in the front. And that's about it, guys. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start things off, use the FXs from Babyliss for the first few steps just to be efficient with my time. So we're going to do the back of the beard. I'm going to set in the initial guideline for this fade. This is going to give us the shape. So it's from the edge of the round of his ear over to the bottom of his vertical bar in the front. So that's the shape that we're going to go with. We're going to put that bald line in, create a little bald section there, and then I'm going to use the FXs to continue his neckline, and then fold his ear down, get that cleaned up, and then we'll get right into the fade. So I decided not to speed this side of the taper up just so that you guys could see in real time how I go about my steps and the motions that I take. We're going to do the Slimline Pro Li, and we're going to flick out at that initial FX trimmer line that we set in. This is not really a section. Basically all we're going to do is just flick out that line so that we don't have to come back in later and work on taking that out. We'll just go straight in with and take it out. Now here we're doing an open section. This is my metal magic clip. So we're just doing a small 1/2 inch or so section at the bottom just to go ahead and continue to start that transition from bald from the FX up through an open clipper. And then from here, you guys, if you follow my channel much at all, you know that I've been fading down a lot lately. We're going to start things off. The metal magic clip continued, open foreguard, flicking out at the top at the parietal ridge area, but we're basically going up through the head in the same shape and in the same area that we set in that initial bald section. And then we're just going to continue to work our way down. Each guard that we use, we're going to start with it open, and we're going to go about halfway up through the section we just previously did. So we started with the 4. This is a 3 guard I just started with. I'm going to do a 2 guard just below this, a 1.5 below that, and then I don't know what happened or why, but the bottom line there after I finished the 1.5 guard, I don't know why, but I don't have the way that I took out that bottom line. I used the Wahl Premium 1/2 guard to take out that bottom line here in a second, right after this step right here. Somehow I must have missed it, but that Wahl Premium 1/2 guard took out between the open section and then that 1.5. So here's the 1.5. And then I didn't get it, but there's the Wahl Premium 1.5 just after this. We'll take out this bottom line, and you guys will see in this next clip how blurry this ended up turning out. And then we'll go ahead and continue to fade behind the ear, and then we'll get into the back taper. So now I've started to speed things up just a little bit. Basically what I'm trying to do here is create this transition and not such a harsh distinction between the front taper and the back taper. So I'm continuing the same steps that I did for the initial taper on around the side here, and then we'll do the same steps in the back. So we're doing a 4 guard, then we did a 3 guard. Now here's the 2 guard. Make sure that we continue to stay within the same steps as we work our way back and lighten this side up here. We'll fold down the ear, making sure that we get that nice and knocked out a little bit. And here in a sec, we'll switch over, get to the back, and we'll start tapering that out. So guys, if you follow along, it's the exact same steps: 4 guard, 3 guard, 2 guard, 1.5, and then we'll go ahead and do the bottom taper in a second. Guys, take a second after this video is over. If you haven't already looked into the Tomb 45 Online Academy, take a second, check that out. You guys can learn so much from the guys that are on that academy. You got guys like Chris Bosio, Sean Cuts Hair, Dre Cut It Out, Get Beamed, S-Craft Blend, some guys that have been doing this for a long time. They all cut different. They all have different demographics of hair and different backgrounds in the industry. So there's so many different ways that you can learn from these guys. Take a second, check that academy out. It's in the link of the description to this video or any of my other ones. You guys will not regret it if you decide to sign up for that. You'll learn so much in the process. So we faded down from top to bottom. Now we're going to taper up from bottom to top. We're going to put in the initial bald line with the FXs, flick that out with the Slimline Pro Li. Then we'll come in, use a closed magic clip just to flick out that Slimline Pro Li section. Here's the metal magic clip, wide open, about an inch section there. Now we're going to use a 1 guard, open up into that 1.5 that we stopped with when we faded down. Then we'll take that 1 guard off. We'll use a no guard, just open and closing the lever as we need to lighten and darken this up here. And then there you go, guys. You got a nice clean taper, faded down from a 4 guard through a 3, 2, 1.5, 1, and then we tapered up into that. Now, as far as the weight going around the parietal ridge area, we're just going to use blending shear over comb. Run that comb flat up and off the head just like you would a guard. Clip the ends of the hair there just to soften it up, let that hair fall back down into place, and you guys will see once I move the comb in a second, you have a nice seamless transition from the taper in the sides there up through the weight in the top, especially since we didn't touch the top at all. Now, for whatever reason, it may have been because I already had the side on the right and then the back faded. Instead of tapering up into it, I just went ahead and faded down, and then I'll taper back up through it. So we're going to start things off the same exact way. Open 4 guard, open 3 guard, 2 guard, 1.5, and then we'll get the FXs back in our hand and we'll start tapering it out from there. So now that we've faded from top to bottom, we're going to taper out the bottom from bottom to top. We're going to start things off by using the FXs, set in our initial bald guideline there at the bottom, from the bottom of his vertical bar over at a downward angle to the top of his ear. We're going to go ahead and do the sharp line on the back of the beard, get that knocked out, fold his ear down, comb all that hair, over direct it past the line, put a sharp line down his neck, and then use the corners of our blade, just do that round about his ear, and then from there we can go ahead and start tapering it out. So to go ahead and start tapering it up from here, we're going to use the Wahl metal magic clip. We're going to do an open section with no guard, about a 1/2 inch or so. We'll close it up, fade out that bottom part, and then we're going to use the Babyliss half guard, which is a little bit longer than the Wahl premium half guard, but a little bit shorter than the Wahl 1 guard when closed. Now when open, you can get it closer up into that 1.5 from the Wahl premium set, which is what we blended up into here now. And we're going to use the blending shears just like the other side, straight up and off the head, soften this blend up, and then from there we'll get into the lineup in the front. So for his front lineup, what we're going to do, we're going to apply hairspray using the face shield, of course, to protect his eyes. I'm going to use the blow dryer to go ahead and heat up and then dry that hairspray, constantly using a fine-tooth comb to comb that hair back down into place where we want it to be. Here in a second, you'll see me lift up the hair. I'm checking to see exactly how high we can go up without being too high, because of course we don't want to go up too high and pushing back at all, just to have a nice lineup. We try not to push back people at all. And then of course in this scenario where it's not really it's almost not really a true lineup, because we're not lining it up all the way to his natural hairline. And then we're using the cordless senior modified with the Andy's master blade, and I actually have the ceramic blade on here. So if you've ever used any ceramic blades on your clippers, most of the time it automatically zero gaps that clipper out. So we closed it all the way up, and we're just using this as a like a heavy duty trimmer, if you will, just to do a rough draft. We'll come back in a minute with the FXs, really refine this line, get it closer to what we want as far as a finished product, and then we'll get into the vertical bar when we have the FXs in hand. So now that we're happy with that front lineup, we're going to take the comb, lift that top lineup out of the way, use the FXs to create a nice sharp vertical bar, which will enhance the look of the taper on the sides there. It will give you kind of a reference to seeing the gradients from bald up through that fade. And then as far as his beard goes, he usually comes in with it already pushed down, I guess if you will, to where it's at. All I want to do is just put a nice sharp line on what he brings me to work with. I'd like to see him let it grow out a little bit higher so we can do a higher round there, closer to the lip. But you know, you have to do the best you can with what your clients bring you a lot of times. Like Beam always says, clients bring you imperfect, hair sometimes, and it's our job to do the best with it that we can. So that's what we're gonna do there. So I don't know, guys, let me know what you think. Well, that about does it for this haircut, guys. Take a second, hit me up in those comment sections, give me some feedback, let me know what you guys thought. While you're down there, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're new, enable those notifications, that way you never miss another video from me. I post every Sunday and Wednesday. We're going to stick to that schedule. Like the video if you liked it, guys, dislike it if you didn't. Until the next video, guys, I appreciate it.